It'd be less likely for them to just like think it's not obvious they don't check. Maybe we can do something every 2 weeks or like a month or 6 weeks or something just to make sure everything's still on. I don't know. Yeah. That sounds good. Sure. Uh, and randomization, blinded or double blinded. I don't know how feasible it would be to double blind. And oh yeah, I mean, they tested it on so maybe it's like that if there's a lot of projection would have to look like just the injection. Just go for it. Alright. So this color's like kind of arbitrary now, so it's like me roughly splitting them up. So I figured this first these versus something. Roughly what we want to see. I was thinking right now, kind of hard right now. I'm not trying to write this by Wednesday. So we don't have to split it up now. We can wait until after we make our. Do you want to see Otis be a Frenchie?
Sure.
Because I'm pretty sure it's a Frenchie.
Oh, whose French is that?
A guy in my class, Steven. He says Otis hopes everyone spends at least a few minutes outside today to enjoy the nice weather.
I haven't stepped outside yet.
I just did. It is. I mean, it's a little bit chilly, but rain, so. No. Are you all cuddled up? Are you all cuddled?
All right, can you hear me? Hello? Hey, how are you? Yeah, definitely. I'm just chilling here. I had to plug in my mic because I had it unplugged. Alright, let me turn down Red Sonja's stream. So, just to go over some of the stuff that I saw in Tommy's stream one more time, just to kind of discuss it, like, verbally. The big things that I noticed was, like, I didn't see him heal more than maybe one time before level 7 because he was simply only fighting things his same level, and then he was doing the like melee weave, basically bouncing in and out of the melee hitbox of whatever he's fighting, and he was timing it based on his swing timer too, which was actually really impressive to notice. Because I didn't notice that's I haven't seen him play melee prior to that. Mm-hmm. Well, so yeah, so it was really crazy though. So like he was pulling it towards objectives, but he was also like bouncing out of the melee hitbox at the long end of his swing. Yep, and then coming back in right when his swing would go off, and then bouncing back out again. So I am a melee player, but I've never seen somebody do it quite so smoothly as he has, and it was actually quite impressive. But outside of that, he wasn't doing anything like groundbreaking. It didn't seem like anyway.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm watching some of his. I need to watch more of it tomorrow. But some of his hardcore cup, I think it was 3, when he like got second or third place overall as a warlock. Granted, that cup was like I saw the starting zone for Elwyn.
Mm-hmm.
It was like maybe like 20 people in the entire competition. So including all the others, like Elwyn, there were maybe 3 people.
Yeah, that's hard to gauge anything off of that because you can. If you don't have any competition for the early mobs, if you're somebody like him, you can just cruise.
Right, yeah. So you can play like a class that's probably not as good at speed leveling solo as a warlock is.
Mm-hmm.
Which was interesting because I was in his stream earlier and I was just like I was chatting a little bit but not much. But Zarin joined in because someone was like, hey, we're thinking about doing priest, warlock, and like his for the hardcore cup 5. What
Mm-hmm.
do you think we'll do? Like and Zarin was like in the chat too. He was like, "Oh, you guys don't even go priest, go paladin." And I was like, "Oh man, they gave away our strat." Because I was like,
So did he justify it basically the same way we did? Like,
his justification was paladin just does more damage, which is like basically what kind of part of our justification is. Like, so the reason I was thinking about paladin is because of the early levels, right?
mm-hmm.
With paladin and warlock, the paladin can carry early levels based on the fact that they have like insane leveling speeds,
Mm-hmm.
and the warlock, and the warlock can carry later by just getting powered up by the paladin.
So
So
I was actually in Kigo's stream and we kind of like discussed it a little bit because people were talking about different duos and stuff like that. And I mentioned that we were going Pally Warlock, and he's like, honestly, I think one of the biggest things that people like neglect to realize in duos, when you're trying to go fast, it's not about like the paladin healing, it's about both of you just pumping damage. So it's like, that's actually a really good point.
see, I don't know how much Kigo speed levels, but I do think that is a solid point. Because I was kind of basing it off of more like what Zarin was saying, because I know he's like a big Guardian speed leveler.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But we,
his like mentality about it actually makes a lot of sense because like,
so sorry, go ahead.
well, just from the fact that like at the end of the day, if we are more focused on making sure that I'm trying to keep you alive, we'll probably lose speed on teams that are both just primarily pumping out damage. Um, except for the fact that if we go full balls to the wall on you basically juggling enemies and having 100% uptime by using my mana as your health and your health as your mana, we could. That's where our speed would come in for trying to go that strat.
Right. And I think what we can try to work on, if we want to stay with the same comp, is we can mix it up. I don't know. I'm super attached to it because honestly, in my opinion, the biggest impact is routing,
Mm-hmm.
more so than even like the class combination. Because like if you have like if you guys have a good understanding of like the routing slash how to speed level, like how you're watching Tommy's thing, it's all like how he was doing something that we
Well, see that's actually a very good point too, because some of the other ones that are like good ones to have together, like for a duo comp, like Shaman Rogue, Paladin Rogue, were simply just because those guys had good routes, and like it's not necessarily that those two classes complement each other more than they just I don't know. I feel like two melee classes really complements itself well, unless you're talking about warrior. Just because I think warrior's too squishy.
Paladin plus another like rogue, like paladin plus rogue, or maybe a paladin plus warrior, or shaman plus rogue plus shaman plus warrior. So like those are all comps that are like very auto attack based with a class that is also auto attack based, but can provide buffs to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like with rogue, you have 100% uptime on blessing fight if you have a paladin, and paladin's already pretty quick early on.
Yeah, and rogue is actually really quick early on too, especially once you get that power spike at level 10 for dual wield. I mean, my fastest 1 to 10 time was rogue, and that's without even using the like better pathing that you showed me. But yeah, like his pathing is the same one as what we're using outside of
Exactly. I mean, I copied it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know speed running. I'm gonna copy somebody that's definitely done this before.
Mm-hmm.
But he has, there's like a website that's linked on his Twitch channel actually about speed running in, like it's like a speed running website that has like records on it. And
Oh
he has
yeah.
like a world record for
Mm-hmm.
Endless Mage, and I basically watched his Endless Mage speed run and copied like what he did, and then just taught my partner how to do it too, like because we were both just gonna play Mage, so it's pretty
Yeah, because
self-explanatory.
yeah, as long as one of you can do it, you'll just have more damage for both of you to do it. Makes sense.
So I don't know. I feel like one of the benefits to the Warlock Paladin is the fact that we both know the classes pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So like I mean, Jordana in my chat earlier was saying 80% or 70% of the duos die.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the biggest way to get top 30 is by just not dying, and the way you just don't die is by playing a class you know how to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's also an advantage of ours. I think maybe we just need to. It depends if there's like a really good comp you want to try, which I'm totally okay with trying something new.
So
I think more so we should focus on the rally.
agreed.
Than anything else.
I think our biggest leg up is going to be one. We already have a good route, and both of us are pretty familiar with classes that can be fast, and I feel like our teamwork or cohesion as a team is pretty good just from having run that RFC together. Like obviously, it's a small communication things here or there just to keep us off trying to both do the same thing. But if we're not going to both be playing mages, then it's like some of those issues would be resolved just from that alone.
Right.
So let's go through this for a second because obviously if our pathing is the biggest thing that we feel like we need to work on, and the classes don't necessarily matter, I feel like we should probably go through and look at the comps and see if there's something that may make us feel more comfortable with surviving. Because surviving is the name of the game. If we can survive to the end, we'll definitely be near the top, and then speed is after that. So I don't necessarily want. I'm not necessarily saying we should change off the Pally Lock combo because I think it could be good. but like, what classes are you the most comfortable on? I know obviously Locke is one. I would say Druid, but Druid's not going to stand a chance in this.
Druid, so that's like the one exception I think is like Druid is so slow for the first
Yeah,
8 hour comp, the first 8 hours.
yeah, it's Druid's so slow that it would have to be a 1 to 60 sprint for Druid to be able to possibly catch back up, but any team with a mage at that point would be able to outpace the Druid so far ahead that you'd never catch up. So Locke, obviously. Do you have any other 60s?
I have a 60 warrior.
Don't we all?
With Gabby because she was playing a shaman, and I was like, oh yeah, free win, free all the time. Fuck yeah! So
Yeah.
I played a warrior with her shaman. I let her pick her own class too. Like I was like, because she played mage, because we played on a private server.
Mhm.
Classic account, and it was so funny, dude. Like we were like level 25, and she was like, "What's this red person on the right side of my screen?"
Oh yeah, you guys were talking about this a while back.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
She was like, "What's this red person on the side of my screen?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, had to go like look at her screen like to see what she meant.
Yeah, 'cause she had never repaired, and you're like, oh.
Right. Never. Exactly. But yeah, so yeah, she played shaman classic, so I was like trying to play classic benefit. I mean, I don't know how good warrior is, right? Like maybe warrior is good if you have a paladin, because you both benefit from blessing of might.
Yeah, so I mean, the good thing about Paladin Warrior, if you were to go that route, is you have Blessing of Might and you have Battle Shout, and they stack. So you have additional.
It's actually pretty sweet.
You have additional attack power, and get this. I was talking to Silver earlier. Guess what buff is allowed um, in this comp as of right now?
Well, like world buffs, right? I mean,
World buffs are not, but Darkmoon Fair is. Because they didn't think to outlaw it.
okay. So I wonder if it'll still be.
I'm
That'd be a good question. 'Cause I don't want to bank on it. And but what is
I
the buff? It's
so there's multiple, but one of them is plus 10% damage. There's also 10% spirit too.
so part of me is like,
I don't necessarily think we should go out of our way to get it, but if it's something that's open and they don't outlaw it, we're going to have to. And being in Elwyn Forest,
that actually puts a disadvantage on us because I think it's gonna be hella crowded.
true. That's a good point.
I was thinking, oh yeah, it'll be Thunderbolt too, but yeah, classic just doesn't.
Yeah, yeah.
So Elwyn might be swamped by people who are like really tryharding, but at the same time, like if you got a Northshire faster than them, you can outpace them. Because that's what happened with me and Clay, is we learned like Northshire really well
Mm-hmm.
on how to do it on a mage, and from there we were able to build a league where there was only one group in front of us from Elwyn, and it was a Paladin Rogue.
Was it the one that like?
Elwyn.
Was it that the one that like came really close to the top 5 or whatever?
So I think they ended up dying. That group
Okay.
died.
Okay, I know which one you're talking about then.
Like Darkshire or something.
Yeah, because they were pumping. Because I remember them being like watching the stream and they were in lock mode on at that point before they died.
So we were like up there like for a long time. And we were like sitting around where like we could have placed for most of it. We honestly thought we were going to place, but then there was a paladin mage duo on E
yeah, you're not gonna do that unless they die, then you automatically move ahead of them.
Right. So that was disappointing, but it is what it is. But yeah, we were ahead for most of it just because we learned a good route. Which, to be honest, Elwyn is the only route I know. I mean, I could learn another one. It's not that hard, I guess. But in terms of like speed, Elwyn is like the fastest.
Yeah.
For any zone. Like if there were human hunters, it would be played by everybody.
Yeah. And then the people that are so against that, are so against having to fight off everybody, would be the only ones that wouldn't be there. So obviously we're going humans because it simply makes sense. It's the one that you know it's the route you know. I know it very well. The only thing that I'm not 100% sure on is, like, as much as I know Paladin really well, I don't know that I know it well enough to be faster than anybody else at it for my contributions to the team. Like, I've only been playing Paladin since I started playing hardcore.
Okay. So what classes do you field?
So on the Alliance side for humans, everything except for priest. I don't think.
That's okay, because I think priest and druid are in the same category where they're both very
Yeah.
in this competition.
Like, obviously I know mage pretty well. Warlock, once again, I'm not going to play warlock, because if we're going to have a warlock in the group, it's going to be you, because it simply just makes sense. You'll know it better than I will, and you'll play it better than I will. But warrior, I feel comfortable on. I've got a 60 warrior. I've played that route as warrior before. I don't know if we necessarily want to bring a warrior for this competition. Because I don't think a class with a warrior can place top 4 in this.
Yeah. The only way I would see it working is if it was Pally Warrior.
Right. Which, if we were going Pally warrior, then I would just go Pally. Because I would venture to say I probably know Paladin better than you do.
So yeah, the highest I have two level 30 paladins in my life. So that's the, I mean, I know it passed the point of return for the tournament, but
Yeah. I've had a 32 paladin, a 33 paladin, and a 25 paladin. All of them have been hardcore, so
I haven't played a single paladin hardcore yet, so you definitely know more than I do.
my most comfortable class overall is rogue. It's what I've played since vanilla. But I don't think rogue warlock would be a good combo necessarily. Or maybe I'd be wrong.
I think it's probably pretty bad, if I had to guess. They don't really like. So if you're looking for classes, like I said, number one difference in people is dying.
Right.
Number 2 difference is route speed and speedrunning skills. I feel like you could mix those together.
Yeah.
And number 3 is class combination. So like the way you differentiate yourself from the top is gonna come down to class combination, because the rest of them are gonna be, not dying, and they're gonna be have good routes.
Right.
So the difference isn't gonna be how fast you execute those routes.
It's gonna be how well you mesh together at that point. At the highest level.
How well your classes work together. So I think it's good that we talked about it, just like kind of
Yeah.
put into perspective like how important routing is. Which is why, like, I don't know if it's a good idea for us to go watch
So I watched a lot of the coverage, and they weren't following the double hunters very much, or as much as people thought they might, simply because everybody figured and expected it to win. Like obviously,
We were on there a good bit. We had some.
yeah,
I watched Cargo's stream back.
yeah. You guys did because everybody wanted to see how well AOE Mage could do. Because nobody expected it to do well until late competition. Like if it was like a 12-hour stream, you guys might have been able to catch up to make well, maybe not to Tommy and tactics, but
If it was 12 hours, so like what 8 hours we got to level 19. In 12 we probably would have gotten to maybe 23, 24. I don't know. Depends on how good AoE Mage gets at level 20.
well, a lot of the limitations early is you don't have the mana to be able to keep up and do the moves to put out the damage. But once you get to 16, you guys you could do uh what was it? Flame strike, arcane explosion combo. And then eventually you would, once you get to 20, have cold snap. So you would have 4 novas.
Yeah, our biggest limitation, honestly, was not learning routes.
Mhm.
We knew when we were going into it, we were going to cheese it. It was like, all right, we have one strategy. If there's another double mage group out there, or if a random person is there, like just like a random Onzo Buccaneers player.
Then you
If anyone is doing our strategy or working on the same ops as us at all, we're screwed. And we knew that going into it because like we were watching the pre-coverage and they were like, oh, it'd be super cool to see double mage, and we were both like, no, they just are like ratting us out almost, giving our strategy away.
so that's exactly what I said when I heard about the competition though. I was like, you know what would be really cool? Double mage. But then like I've mentioned that to people and they're like, well, yeah, but you're gonna lose. Like it's not gonna be good for double mage for AoE until you get to at least 14. Even then, it's kind of scuffed because you
It wasn't, to be
well,
honest.
what
We did
everybody's
fantastic strategy.
everybody saw that it didn't end up being scuffed, but everybody expected it to be because you don't have even half your toolkit for trying to AoE farm at level 14. So I think what we do is tomorrow run it back for Northshire because we both agree that that's like the make or break for getting out of it.
Yeah, that's how you get the biggest lead above people, is by getting out of the starting zone fast. Because if someone gets bottlenecked, and you and your partner get out, then you're in a better spot.
Mm-hmm. So I think we need to at least run that back, and then I wonder if Tommy still has his VOD up for his Paladin speedrun 1 to 20. If he finished it. Because if he did, that would basically give us our blueprint for route to go for post 14.
Yeah, it would for sure.
Since I think he
Solo, so like we'd have to keep an eye on like certain quest drops if like it's really bad if he did it.
I think
Try to avoid it.
yeah. I mean that would just mean at the end we'd be possibly doing a little bit more grinding, but even still, if we're looking at something, we've got the quest for 1 to 20, we could get close to that, and I think getting between 19 and 20 without or duo comps is going to place high.
Yeah, I mean, if we get to 19, I think we'll place. Well, I don't know. I feel like we'd have to get to 20 at least. It depends on how popular the competition is, because last time it was hyped because it was the first one in like months. It was the first duo. Like there was a lot of things going for that first tournament.
Yeah, I felt like they hyped it up a lot more than they are this one. Like this one, I forgot was even happening.
Right. It was definitely more hyped up. Had like a trailer that went with it, everything. Yeah, it was cool.
But I don't know. I still think just because you won't have the duo hunters that will be chasing down like first place and just outpacing the competition. I think it's going to be harder for teams to be able to reach those higher XP marks because of that. Because what was the best placing non-duo team? And how far did they get?
Oh, no, sorry. The Shaman Rogue. There's only two duo hunters that were in the top 4. The rest of them got.
Right. So I mean, if we're talking top 4.
Right. So top 4, yeah, 2 out of the 4 were. Let me see if I can find if it's on Classic HC or Classic WoW.live. Hardcore. Okay, yeah, here's a leaderboard. Yeah, so it was Double Hunter, level 22, Shaman Rogue, level 21, Double Hunter 20, Mage Paladin 19.5.
So if we say the bar is going to be at the same spot, because realistically, there's only so well people can do with this stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess we would want to be trying to get that 20 to 21 XP mark then.
Yeah, so I think if we got to level 20, we would probably place. But you have to find a route and a comp that we are comfortable with not dying on that can get us in there. Which I'm not completely against Pally Warlock just yet.
I'm not either. I mean, it's just
Because I'm thinking, like, in
it.
terms of, like, if we were going balls to the wall with the Warlock dots and having 0% downtime, like, we haven't even gotten to that. Like, we just now got to the point where I have Curse of Agony.
Yeah, and yeah, we haven't even gotten to that part to mess around with that yet.
I think we hit level 8 and Hearth back, and then killed like 3 coyotes or something. That was all we done, kill wise.
Because we basically turned in and we're already level 10.
That's what I love about that route. You're like, you got in level 8, and then you just Hearth back and you just hit 10 in like 20 minutes. Pretty insane.
What do you think about this then? Try and do actually 10 to 15 tomorrow, and then run a 1 to 6 the day after.
Yeah, I think
Because then,
so we probably got about, I would guess, about 3 hours
Right.
So if we learn the routing, and I think depending on the class, right? So like warrior, pally, rogue. I think we're starting humans. They need to pay attention to weapon progression too.
Yeah. Which
So
two-handed.
bad.
Go ahead.
I'm saying I'm wondering how bad pally warrior actually is, and if it's actually bad. Let me look in the. I'm looking at the leaderboards. Let me see if there's any pally warriors.
Did they like leave off like what level people were when they died too?
Yes.
Okay, that's huge information to have. Because realistically, if you look at some of the other ones that got pretty far but died, just to see like proportionately what comps did.
So I'm actually looking at this. The priest warlock on the undead build got to 17, which I feel like those are so slow compared to pally.
Yeah, but isn't that the priest warlock team that was Arleus and his buddy?
It's Yael HC and Lag HC.
What level were those? Oh, those guys died twice. That's why. Arleus died. Him and his comp, or his duo partner, died twice. That's why I'm thinking of it.
Sucks.
Yeah, they died once and then got back up and raced back to get back into it. I think died again. But it was too late for them to have caught up at that point that they called it.
Right.
Because I think they were in it at like level 11 when they died the first time.
There's this priest duo that got to level 11.
I don't know how that could be good without a wand.
Yeah, I know it's not. Even with the wand, you have to stand there and shield the whole time.
True. I guess that's good for uptime, but at the same time, it's still super slow.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about comms and see if. I mean, so the pally warrior, I'm looking at ones that made it to level 17.25. So they have.
And that's where they ended, or that's where they died.
That's where they ended, but I think part of that is that they maybe don't know routes. I don't know. I don't know how slow warrior is when you have paladin healing you.
Wait, even warrior's not like terribly slow as a leveler. But then, yeah, the biggest thing is you have to eat after a lot of fights. So if you've got a healer, I don't know, could be. 17.25 is actually impressive.
No, it's a solid 8 hours. I mean, that's a solid. Go ahead. Let's see. We got. I'm looking at them right now to see. I wish he had a timer on us. We does 6:58. Oh, those poor guys on EU. That sucks. So I'm gonna try to find where they hit
Yeah, knowing ours was also an hour 40 was our 1 to 10 time.
So they're at an hour. Let me find when they actually level up though. Okay, they hit level 10 at an hour and 57 in.
Okay, so that's basically the time that it would take for us to get to Dunmorrow, do Vagash.
So I bet we would just be doing Bagash. Yeah, I think that's probably where it'd be.
That or even starting the quarry.
So I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's pretty solid. But this is like these are people that maybe didn't use a correct route, and like I'm watching them fight mobs, and they're both like tag teaming themselves. You know, like not spreading their damage out or like trying to run while they do it.
Like stationary fighting.
Yeah, they're just like standing there, smacking them down. I don't know. Let's think on it. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And see if we have any other thoughts.
The only one other thing that I would leave you with, and like tell me right now if you think that this would be a bad comp, but how bad do you think Warlock Mage would be?
It doesn't excite me. And I think part of the reason why is the only way I think Warlock is good
Is
if there's like a more supporting class with it.
a more combo supporting class is what you mean then?
Right.
Okay. See that's why
So like
I think Warlock Mage would be a good non-speedrun duo, simply just because it would be convenient to have the ability to have the support of the conjurables for both sides. But I don't know, just kind of spitballing here, like thinking aloud, because it feels like it could be good, but for speed, I don't think it would be a good one.
yeah, I think for speed it won't. I mean like I said, like the routing is most important, but also like you don't want to cut yourself with a bad comp.
Right.
For
Like,
lack of a better term.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean I think you just kind of limit yourself a bit if you go Warlock Mage. I feel like out of all the class combos from the human side, except for the ones involving priest, that would be the worst.
Yeah. So I mean that helps us at least narrow things down, because if we're looking at, I don't think it's smart for either of us to go mage unless we tried to go pally mage, but even then I don't think.
And I was about to say that like the only one I would think would be good for Pally Mage just because that's the one that beat us.
Yeah.
If you had some sort of either good routing or had a good combo that I didn't.
Yeah. But even then I don't think pally mage would be the move for us to do. As much as I think like we could do well on that, like if we were going to do that, I would say we'd be better off doing pally warlock.
Yeah. So I mean I can pull up the times that we had while leveling our mages in the cup. I can find that somewhere. And kind of give us a spitball where we're at time wise, because the mages definitely slowed down from like 10 to 14. We were pretty slow. Like that's where we like lost a bunch of ground and then couldn't make it up.
Yeah, and then once you started AoEing, you started making up time, but you didn't have a long enough competition to make up what you lost.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing that people said, like, even before the comp started, about Mage. Like, when I was like, oh yeah,
I was happy with that place. Like, I thought, like, you know, that was solid. Considering we did no prep besides practice AoE farming gnolls and learned a 1 to 14 route, which is, like, pretty not very intense to learn that much of a route.
yeah, 1 to 4,
We had our notes pulled up.
yeah, 1 to 14 is an easy enough route, especially because like there's only one way of doing that makes sense for the human route.
I don't know. We'll think about it. But yeah, I gotta bounce. But we'll think about comp, and then, like you said, tomorrow I'll be available. I'll message you on Discord when because I'm gonna have to work a little bit later tomorrow than I normally do. But I'll message you on Discord when I think I'll be.
Yeah.
What time I think I'll be getting home.
Yeah, I'll be around.
We can try to get something going. Probably, if I had to guess, it'd be around 6:30 to 7 Eastern. I don't know what your schedule is or how it lines up with it.
I work till 7 Eastern every day anyway, so works for me.
Alright, sounds good then. Good deal. Alright,
All right, take it easy. Bye.
getting up for a bit?
I'm just gonna finish this quest, turn it in, and I'll be going to bed.
Okay. Ready for the sheets? No. Freaking lovely. Say night. Person.